If you're feeling overwhelmed with online teaching, then you need to watch this entire video. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell notification so you don't miss any of my weekly episodes directly focused on online teaching and education. I have been helping hundreds of educators transition to the online remote virtual teaching world. I'm so excited to help you take the frustration out of online teaching. Number one, prioritize your tasks. This is something that I do every single day as an online teacher and online educator. I make sure that as soon as I start my day, before I jump online, I give myself a bit of time and I sit down and I literally will write down every single task that I need to do that day. The prep work I need to do for the day, for the next day, and I'll make sure that after I write down everything I need to do, that I prioritize them with what I need to do first. So here's what I need to do first. Here's what I need to do second. And I will pick the top 3 tasks that I know need to get done. And I'll make sure I do those before I do anything else. There's so many things that you have to do every day and you're not gonna be able to get everything done. You're not gonna be able to make sure you create all your fancy slides or you update, that spreadsheet or, everything. There's just not gonna be enough time. So make sure you prioritize. I like to start that every single morning, write it down and get directly to the ones that I know have to be done that day. Number 2 is create templates. The best thing you can do for yourself is have a template for what you need to use in every single class, whether that's slides, whether it is spreadsheets, whether it's a to-do list or whatever you need for your class. Make templates so that every time you go and make a new course or you have a new class, whatever it is, you have a template to go back to. I like to do this in Google Docs. I'll create templates for my lecture notes, and that way I can just go back in and kind of edit and update. But having templates is gonna save you time, and every single time you update that template, you're just gonna make your class and your teaching better and better every single time online. Online teaching, it's really important that you designate your workspace in your home. Working from home, you have a lot of distractions going on, so I like to literally designate a space. I do have a space right now here in my office that I can close the door, and I know this is my workspace. Nothing else, really matters when I can shut the door and walk away for the day. But that may not be, you may not be able to dedicate a whole office. So what space can you create that is just for your work, just for your online teaching, just for your prep and planning? Is it a desk in a corner? Is it a space? Is it something that you only use that space just for your work and your teaching? The next step I have for you is to set clear hours. When we work from home in the online virtual world, sometimes all that work can start to melt into our normal daily life. So we start working more than just 4 hours or 5 hours or 8 hours. We bump that up to 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 or 13 or 14 or whatever extra hours you've been working. It's probably been too much. We think, oh, great, I got an email from a student or a message from a student. It's 9 o'clock at night, but I need to do that. I need to respond to them because it's due tomorrow. No. You don't need to respond to them at 9 o'clock at night. Set clear hours. If it's 8 to 5, or if it's 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., whatever hours work for you. We all have different office hours and different work hours. Stick to those office hours, stick to those hours of work, and when you're not in that time zone, turn it off, put it away. Number 5 is to schedule clear breaks. I actually sat down and I note in my calendar 15-minute break, 30-minute break, 1 hour lunch break. If I'm doing my prioritizing my tasks at the beginning of the day, I'll actually write that into my schedule where I want it to be. And if it changes, that's fine. But I want to know that I have set time for myself. Even in the real world, in an office, oftentimes we turn around, it's been 8 hours and we didn't take our lunch. We worked through it, right? Or we didn't take our breaks. Or we took our break, but during our break, we were shoving food in our mouth and drinking our coffee while responding to students and multitasking. Don't do that. Take your breaks. Take time for you. go away for your lunch for an hour, sit outside, whatever it is, but make sure you are taking your breaks so that you can refuel. Also, for online teaching, it's super important that you look away. I'm sitting in front of a big window in my office where I teach, but if I'm on a break, I leave my office. Go outside, go downstairs, do something where my eyes are actually looking away from the screen. I had a really, really bad headaches last year, and my optometrist was like, "You're staring at a screen all day." Look away. Also wear your reading glasses. That was another one. I want to know what one thing drives you wild with online teaching. Let me know down in the comments below. All right, moving on. Number 6. These last 5 are my favorite. I want you to make sure that you automate when possible. This depends on what level you're teaching at, if it's on your own or at an institution, but I want you to automate when possible. Can you automate replies in your email when you're out of office? Set that automation where it automatically replies and says, "Out of the office for the weekend, I'll get back to you on Monday. Thanks so much for your email." Can you automate anything in your class? Can you pre-schedule any of your announcements? Can you pre-schedule your emails that are going to go out to your students every week or every morning? What can you pre-schedule and then it's set on automation? A lot of automation that I have set up in my business is actually my bookings for my students and my clients that I work with one-on-one. So I have it all set up in Acuity where they can go on, they can see my schedule, they can pick a time on their own, they can sign up for a time, they can pay, and then they automatically get the Zoom link sent to them. And all I have to do is show up. So that's a great way to automate if you're doing one-on-one clients. Make it as easy as possible for them and automate what you can to save back and forth time in whatever way that's possible for you and what you're teaching. Number 7 is establish a clear communication with your students. Oh my goodness, this has saved me so much headache with online teaching. Many students now, as you know, don't use email. I teach at the college level, and so I've experienced this quite often. Email is kind of something that's becoming an older generation thing. Why? I don't know. They want to text. So you have to find a way that's not only going to work for them, but work for you too. What's the best way you want to communicate with your students and be clear about that? Is it by email? Can they contact you online via social media, which I don't suggest at all unless it's your own business, your own clients, your own courses? How can they contact you and be specific about that? I'd like to start every single class, if it's at the college level in academia, with this is how you get in touch with me. I use Pronto, so it's like a text message system, and let's try it out. Here's my email address. Any questions you have, here's my email. This is how I want you to contact me, or use the messaging system in Canvas. Whatever it is, be specific and tell them how you want to communicate with them on a more one-to-one basis if they have questions. Number 8 for your tips about online teaching to avoid being overwhelmed is to forget about being fancy. I know a lot of people message me all the time and I get such wonderful compliments and everything looks fancy and I have a fancy camera and I have fancy lighting and all this fancy stuff. Sometimes you don't need it. Don't worry about being fancy. The focus is on the content with your students and that communication. And that's challenging within itself, just communicating through a camera lens to them. So forget about being fancy. Yeah, do you want to have a nice backdrop? Absolutely. If you got time for that or you're ready to add that on. But really simplify what's going to work for you where you are now. Every time you teach online, it's going to get a bit easier, or you're going to be able to, add a webcam, or add a microphone, or you found this new technique or tool you want to try out, or you want to, use a different type of mixer that uses your microphone and it's not USB. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're staying simple and you're not getting too fancy and overwhelmed. I'll be honest with you. I have tried everything from opening up my laptop and just using the built-in camera to my fancy, really expensive microphone that I use for my podcasting, and I used a mixer and all these fancy things. I've kind of tried it all, and I will tell you what is going to be the best thing is keeping it simple, not overwhelming yourself, where you can open it up, have it set up ready to go, and directly start teaching without worrying about all that technology. So be careful, add little by little so you don't overwhelm yourself with all the tech. Number 9 is go with the flow. I think that's a song. Go with the flow. I don't know what song that is, but it came to my brain. Go with the flow. Online teaching comes with different challenges. Things are gonna happen because we're in our homes, right? My dogs bark, right? My camera dies when I'm using it on my computer. You know, your microphone isn't working. I was teaching a class on YouTube one day with a bunch of my musical theater students, and I was showing them how to use YouTube, and we were looking at their self-tapes on YouTube, and YouTube went down. And I had to just figure it out. Right? One of your students, their internet goes, right? Or their computer is really lagging, or you can't understand each other, or something's wrong and you just can't, you know, something happens in the moment. Go with the flow. Be flexible and willing to say, okay, what I had planned wasn't gonna work. You know what? Let's do this instead. Or, you know what, hey, this technology isn't working today, internet connection is bad. I want you to go do this task to move forward to the next actionable steps. And we're gonna meet back up in class next time, and then we're gonna talk about this. Whatever it is for you, go with the flow. Understand that it's not predictable with technology many times, and be okay with being flexible and switching it up a bit in the moment. And number 10, this is my favorite one, and one that's really helped me a lot the past few months, is to brain dump at the end of the day. So what I'll do is I will literally sit with a pad of paper, or, you know, if you want to do it digitally, that's fine too, but I try to do as much as I can on paper. And I have a little creativity notebook, and I will brain dump anything that I want to at the end of the day. So whether it's this thing went wrong, I need to figure out how to fix my camera. The canvas shell wasn't opening up, or there was a mistake, I want to fix that. Susan had problems accessing this link, so I need to fix that. Or, Jay was having trouble feeling motivated today, so I want to come up with some ways that I can help them. Whatever it is in that moment, good, bad, indifferent, frustrated, happy, excited, reminders, whatever it is, brained up and down on a piece of paper. What that's going to do is help you put it on paper. You can come back to it later, prioritize it when you need to, but you're going to give yourself the time to sit down and write out anything you have in your brain. What I will find is a lot of times it turns into, didn't feel good today, was unmotivated, need to find a better way to prep before I start my class. Or I need to make sure I have this ready because this did not go well today. Brain dump anything you need to on a paper at the end of your workday. If you need more help with productivity, be sure to check out my Productivity for Online Teaching playlist. I will link it down in the description box below so you can access it. And if this video is helpful for you, please consider giving it a like, a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any more of my weekly episodes all about online teaching. Happy teaching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.